An old baseball saying, a bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast. Big Sexy, Luke Hughes.
Going back. This ball's back and gone in his first major league at bat. Luke Hughes hits a home run. What a moment for Luke Hughes. What a moment for Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bloop and a Blast podcast. My name is Big Sexy. I am the Bloop. His name is Luke Hughes, aka The Blast. Hughesy, mate, there's so much to talk about this episode. It's wild, but how you going? You're good?
I'm doing well, mate. I see you're wearing some different stuff tonight. It's been very heavily dominant Morley Eagles attire over the last couple of episodes, and I do see, is that a Brisbane Bandits hat, or is that not? That is
it's
a
an
Brisbane
old
Bandits
Brisbane
hat.
Bandits hat.
Yeah,
it's
thought
darty,
so.
as the kids
Love
would say.
that.
Yeah.
And then the funny part about this is the fact that you're the biggest Boston Red Sox fan, and you're rolling with the San Francisco shirt. How does that play?
Yeah, it's a good point. I actually don't own a lot of Boston Red Sox merch anymore, and I bought this shirt in San Francisco in 2009, and it was a bedsheet on me then, and I've gotten bigger.
Nah, how much?
It's all right.
Mate, how much weight have you lost over the last 12 months? You look great.
I thank you. I appreciate that. That's lovely. But still moderate size sexy. We can't. I lost a little bit of weight, but then I put a little bit back on. But that's all right. Let's talk about.
Do we need to change you? Yeah. Do we need to change it from big sexy to medium sexy? Is that what
I'll
we're
take
going
big
with?
sexy. You know, it's a title that comes with it. Like you think about Bartolo Colon. You think about that guy. Everyone loves that guy. I can't go and just flame some kid for being a prick on the weekend. I'm big sexy. I carry big responsibility here. You know what I mean? That's how
Did you just put yourself in the same category as Bartolo Colon?
Not on field. Not well. No, no, not on field. But it's like that's a huge thing that I have to carry, Luke. Like I've got a name, and everyone loves that guy. Have you ever been? Next time you go to a ballpark, Luke, go up to someone and go, "Do you love Bartolo Colon?" And if they know who you're talking about, they'll go, "Yeah, absolutely." That's what I aspire to be with this name. You know.
Do you think Bartolo Colon is more famous for God knows how many punch outs he had, or the one home run he hit in his career?
Yeah, it's the home run. It's the home run and the flick behind the bat. But you know it. Hey, we've got so much to talk about, and here we are talking about this. I mean, come on, this is going to be a big episode. We're gonna talk to the under-18s and Emeralds manager Jason Pospishil. Hey, see how I did that there? Not a lot of people. I'm in the top 1% of Australian baseball. I can pronounce his name, and I can spell it. We're going to talk to him, and then we're going to dive back into some ABL news, and of course, the news on everyone's lips at the moment, the MLB ABS decision. I can't wait to hear Hughesy's thoughts on this a bit later on in the episode. But what we're going to do, we're going to go to Pops right now. So here we go. We've got Jason Pospishil, the dual wielding manager. He's the under-18s manager as well as the Emeralds manager. Pops, great to have you on the show, mate. We appreciate you taking up your time and having a chat with us.
No problems, lads. Thanks for having me. Been back for about a week now, so had a bit of a chance to reflect, and but no rest for the wicked, mate. Straight back on the tools for work for me, mate. So bit weary today. Big day today,
mate. First question off the rack, right? Straight into it. The last time we had you on this show, you had I'm pretty sure it was a barking dog in the background. Have you got that one squared away for tonight?
No, she's sitting right over here on the rug in my laundry, mate. So I can't promise she won't go off. But she's sleeping at the moment, so I'll try and keep her under wraps, mate.
All jokes aside, mate. Welcome back to the show. It's great having you on here. It's always fun talking to you about baseball. I know how much you love the sport and how much you give back to the sport. I guess the first question off the bat, mate, talk us through, the tournament, how the boys went, what your thoughts were, mate.
Yeah, I think, listen, upon reflection, mate, probably a tournament of what ifs, right? Looking at the tournament in hindsight, we dropped a very, very important game 1 to Germany 5-4. And if we'd won that game and the results after that had gone according to plan, how they did, we would have qualified for the Super Round after the first 3 days. Yeah, we would have been, at least a minimum of third in our group, ahead of Panama and Germany, and then essentially would have tried to win a Taipei or a US game and carry a win through to the Super Round. But mate, that wasn't to be. We dropped the first game to Germany 5-4. Very, very nervous bunch of guys, mate. I had concerns in the pre-game preparation. Very quiet, very nervous. And I said to a couple of the guys on the staff, I said, these guys are a little bit spooked. Just my observations, and we played that way. So disappointing first day. We had a good win against Panama. The next day they bounced back. We beat China pretty convincingly. But that first loss meant that we had against Germany meant we had to beat Taipei or USA, which ended up winning the gold and the bronze. So unfortunately, the Taipei game got away from us pretty quick. We gave up 5 in the first, and we lost that game 10-2 and out-hit them 10-5. So not something that you see every day. Not something you see every day. And then the USA game, mate, we're in it 4-1. Gave up 3 in the first 2, in it 4-1 until the 6th, and then we had an implosion. So it was a tournament of what ifs, mate. That Germany game, I knew we had to win that game to have any chance of getting to the Super Round. And then when we dropped it, it was like, okay, we're pushing shit uphill now. We're going to have to either win a game that we're probably not expected to win, or results were to go our way. So, and on both ends, we didn't get any luck. We lost the Taipei, like the USA, like I just said, and we needed. I think there was a scenario there where we needed Panama to beat Germany, but beat them by a certain amount of runs because of the tiebreak and the TQB and whatever they have. Well, you need a physicist degree, mate, to understand how that all works. It's really complicated. And they won 15-0 because Germany didn't think they had to win. They threw the B team out there. Panama beat them 15-0, which then meant the TQB, the total quality balance equation, pushed Panama ahead of us. So that's what pretty much knocked us out.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard one, right, going into a first game, and natural juices are always going to be flowing, and guys handle situations. It doesn't matter how old you are or what tournament you're playing. And the best thing for those guys was the fact they did bounce back, and moving forward, the next time they get to play or represent their country or go somewhere and play in a tournament, I think most of them will be able to handle that situation better. And you'd think that, and as you said, mate, they carried himself a lot better throughout the following week. But I guess you mentioned, the defensive cues, miscues have probably hurt you a bit throughout the tournament. What are some things that, we love development, we love coaching, I love speaking about it, so do you. What are some of the things that you think, and I know you put some stuff in place, but like what else can we do, to prepare these guys to get to understand the speed of the game, especially at the world level?
Mate, like you, mate, I'm very black and white, so I'll be candid. I mean, defensively during the tournament, we were horrendous. We were really, really poor, to be fair. We made, I think, 13 errors in 8 games, which is not good in any stretch. I think, listen, Baseball Australia and the HP staff have come together with a plan about, game speed development and performance consistency, which I totally agree with. And that's something that we spoke about with these guys during the camp, and then obviously in our little mini camp before the tournament. Me personally, mate, I think there's another level to this, and I think it's around the mental skills and being able to mentally handle game speed pressure. Talent doesn't disappear. So, you've seen it. You can hit a guy 100 ground balls in a 10-1 game and he catches 100. But now you hit that same ground ball to him in a tie game with an end on third. And I think there's the fear factor that comes in mentally that if I don't catch this ball, there's my dog. There she is, right on cue.
She is. We got her.
Drink. That's a drink. That's a drink.
So I think for me, mate, there's something, a discussion point that I've had with the relevant people at BA is a discussion around this space, because you can see it with our guys. I think, talent-wise, skill-wise, there's no doubt that we can compete. We can catch ground balls like the US. We can square up baseballs like Japan and pitch and stuff like that. But it just seems to be in the moments in games where there's a perceived pressure, we break down. And that to me is not physical. I think it comes down to mental skills and more so our coping mechanisms for our players, that when they're under perceived pressure during a game, that they have coping mechanisms or routines to where they can go to help them, I suppose, simplify the process. I'm big on routine and process, and looking into great athletes in all different sports. They all seem to have the ability to. It's like they focus on their process and executing their process and having trust in that. That's what's going to give them a result. Where I think we tend to default to result, which then causes the fear, because they're like, well, if this result happens, right, we're going to lose. They have the fear that that's going to happen. And then guess what? It's like, don't think of an apple, Hughesy. What's the first thing you think of? The apple.
An orange. An orange.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're thinking about, shit, if I don't catch this ground ball or I don't put this ball in play, the first thing you think of is, well, what happens if I don't do it? So I think there's a big discussion around, I think, our ability to develop the mental skills and some coping mechanisms for our guys to be able to handle game speed pressure.
So that to me comes back to, I guess, the high performance programs and adding it into that space, just because you guys come together so quickly and it's so hard to bring someone in that late in the piece to be able to teach the guys the coping mechanisms and how to handle situations. I think past players could play a role in that space to be able to talk them through, obviously, different aspects of how you, I guess, can handle different situations. And it's an interesting one, right? So it'd be interesting to see what they put in place after, I guess, you would sit back and do a review once you got home and started to relax a little bit and start think about, the different parts of the game. So, I mean, I don't want to sit on here and very honest.
Do you think that comes with a bit of age though, as well? Like it is a tough age for that, and that's something that they could potentially develop over time as well. Do you think it is a tough age to try and teach these kids that? Either of you? Not really.
No, I don't think it is, mate. I think it's just a matter of if you identify it and you prioritise it and you can work it in. I mean, listen, our high performance staff around the country, they do a great job. There are so many things that they have to be across in their roles, and it's sort of, I feel sorry for them in some stage, in that I think they're forced by their relative bosses to become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And we might not have the financial capability of, say, bringing in someone to put in place a really top-notch mental skills program. But let's maybe look at upskilling those guys so that they can implement it within their programs in some way. One thing, Jezza, I think we need to look at culturally getting over this notion that they're just kids. Yeah, because when we go to that World Cup, guess what? We're playing against kids as well. Yeah. But yet they seem to execute and they seem to get stuff done that we possibly don't do. So I don't think you can use they're just kids as an excuse. I think
that's fair, yeah.
We know that we work within, let's call it an improper system. We know our system's not perfect based on a number of factors. But I think there's some really, really valid lessons to be learned out of this tournament and discussion points to be had internally that allow us to make adjustments within the improper system that we're in. We don't have 350 million like the US. We don't have all the money. We get that. But what are some things that we can highlight and identify and work towards within our system to help us achieve better performance outcomes down the track?
Mate, looking at some of these teams, and I do see the tournament as like kind of two halves, right? Like there's the elite, which is USA, Japan, Chinese Taipei. Those countries are far superior. You just see the athletes are better. The USA guys were massive. They're all pumping fuel. It really shows to me where the game is at, especially, in the different and the respective countries. And, looking at the pitching aspect to it, I mean, those USA guys are just blowing doors. Like everyone that I saw pitch just blew doors. And for people at home that don't know what that means, they throw really hard. And it's an interesting one to sit back and like, how do we get back to that, right? How do we get back to producing enough quality arms that know how to throw strikes and can locate, but the velocity needs to uptick at the same time, right? Like it's, these guys are hoping to go off to college and, it just seems like the US is full of guys pumping 95 now. Everyone does. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer, well, I kind of think I know what the answer would be to help get there, but there has to be a pure all-in approach. If this is what you want to do, you have to be all in. You have to be lifting 5 days a week. You have to be getting strong. You have to learn how to swing the bat hard. You have to learn how to throw hard. And I'm not saying that you have to go to driveline and do all this stuff, but we have to create the total package because unfortunately we don't have the quality athletes staying within the game. There's so much competition here in Australia, especially with the top tier sports. It's difficult to hold on to those pure athletes, right? As we are all aware. But I mean, mate, some of these guys that rolled out there, like I can't wait to see these guys pitching the big leagues in like 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, the US game, mate, was we'd seen their first 2 or 3 starters pitching the tournament, and you're like a lefty at touching 98, and then they had another lefty that was 91 to 93 with 4 pitches for a strike, and we faced them on day 5. They're already 4-0, so they're probably lining up their pitching for the super round. And there was part of me and the staff, we had a discussion. Remember, we had a discussion the night before. I said, you got to think we're probably going to get someone, bottom half of the staff start tomorrow. It's not a game they have to win, etc. Well, they bring out, mate, their Otani, and he ended up being the MVP of the tournament. He was sitting in the 3-hole, played some first base as well, and he comes out there. I think his name's Coleman Borthwick, 6'5", 245, and he gets up there on the mound. First pitch, 93. Next pitch, 95. Next pitch, 95. And then I think it was Will Hardy. Will Hardy found a couple back, and then, here you go, have the 87-mile-an-hour slider. Go take a seat. Yeah. And it's like, and there were some guys that come back to the dugout, poor buggers, and I'm standing there, and they're coming back from the plate, and they're just looking at me with this look like, holy shit. And I just thought of that line out of The Wizard of Oz. I'm like, Toto, we are not in Kansas anymore. Because it's like, you can talk about context and you can talk about it, but until these guys experience it, they don't really know what they're facing. Now, the positive for me out of an experience like that was there were some guys that I had discussions with later in the week that were like, holy cow, like this is where we need to get to. And I'm like, great, that's a tick, because now they have a context of the level they need to get to, what the caliber of international competition's like. And this game gets better, mate. So obviously it's 4-1. Then they rolled out 2 relievers in the bottom half of the stuff, and it got harder. It went 95, 96, and then 96, 97. And I said to Andy Riddell sitting next to the dugout, and I said, Andy, this is crazy. I said, these are 17-year-old kids throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. And I said, it's just one after the other, after the other, after the other. Like when you and I were coming up, mate, you might get one guy in a system that was 96, 97, right, in Pro Bowl. I remember we had one guy in our ETN team was 96, 97, one guy. And I reckon now you'd have a bullpen of 10 or 11 guys, mate, in the minor leagues that are all 96 plus.
All of them.
And the
I don't think there is anyone under that.
Yeah. It's crazy, mate. And the game has changed so much. I take your point. However, I think someone like a Damian Wilson and an Ethan Bickle prove that you can still get guys out if you know how to pitch.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, as a country, philosophically, we're starting to go that all right, if we're not able to produce guys that are in the low to mid 90s velo-wise, and we got guys in the mid to upper 80s, if you can throw a change up and change speeds, and you can spin your breaking over and fastball counts if you have to, you can get guys out. Now, Damian Wilson pitched his ass off against Panama, pitched his butt off against Cuba.
Yep.
Didn't throw a fastball above 85 miles an hour. And he's a change-up guy. And I was thinking of a Craig Anderson, a guy like that, who we knew Wilson was a really good matchup against Panama and a really good matchup against Cuba because they're ultra aggressive to the heater. And we're like, if we can change speeds and pitch backwards a little bit, we might have some success, and we did. So I think it showed hopefully some of the younger generation out there that, okay, if you're not throwing 93, 95, you can still get guys out if you know how to pitch.
And throw strikes.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Mate, we've done it at the national team. Sorry, mate. We've done that at the national team, and the games that have, our pitchers have had, normally our pitchers carry us at the national level and have carried us for a long time, right? Like, going to these tournaments is always difficult. They're always at a funny time of the year. And, it's the Athos, it's the Sawpolds, take about a few years before that, it's the Ox Springs and, the likes like, Blackley and all these guys that throw 4 pitches for a strike in any count and change speeds really well. And we've had success on the world, level for that. Yeah, okay, occasionally, someone from Japan runs into one in the 8th or 9th inning. Seems like it happened every other year, and same with Cuba. But, we were always in a position to potentially win that game with a big hit at a certain moment. But we have had the ability to do that. So maybe, we sit back and the thought process might need a shift to what you just said. It's like, okay, guys, you need to know how to throw 3+ pitches, 4 strikes in any count and locate. And, maybe that's the philosophy. Maybe it's like, guys, let's get away from trying to throw 95 because it's not going to happen yet, especially at that 17, 18 age. But if we can focus more in on throwing strikes with a good mix, maybe that's a plus. Maybe that's the focus that needs to shift.
Yep. And just to let you know, mate, that is the philosophy. Yeah. So Team Australia Foundations, which we introduced with this team, is three pitches for strikes at any one time. So there's no mention about velocity. It's just you got to be able to throw 3 pitches for a strike at any time, and that allows you to pitch.
Yeah. But you had some guys there that did compete, mate, and I'm sure that you were pretty proud when you sit back and you're like, you guys battled back, right? Like after a tough loss first game to be able to battle back and kind of put yourself in a position to, as you said, mate, who knows? You go up against the USA, we'll see what happens, right? So you had a chance still, which is the positive part to, I guess, the tournament. So who were some of the real standout guys, I guess, offensively that you saw take a step forward?
Yeah, mate. Listen, I was super proud of him. I don't want to sound like it's all doom and gloom because I'm just looking at it from the lessons that we can take from it. Yeah, listen, offensively, I know you can look at it that we played in the placement round and maybe didn't see the same caliber pitching as the teams in the Super round, but statistically into the tournament, we were second in the tournament in hitting. We hit 317 as a team. We swung the bats great. I mean, Josh Naddai had a great week. Ashton Kennedy had a great week. Will Hardy had a great week. Matty Traynor had a great week. I think we had like 6 or 7 guys that hit above 300. Yeah. So offensively, we were really, really well balanced, top to bottom. I said after we picked the team, I thought we had a lot of versatility and we had a good match of left and right. So I was able to match up lefty v righty, etc., and give us some balance. Then that allowed me to use some guys off the bench at times and defensive replacement. So we were really, really well balanced, and I thought we swung the bat really well. I mean, the first game against Germany, we had opportunities to put that game away, and we didn't. There's a few guys that got probably a little bit too big, a little overamped in some situational hitting, like man on third less than 2 out situations. But we addressed that the next day. And listen, from day 2 to the end of the tournament, I cannot be more proud of the discipline those guys showed in being able to consistently apply themselves to an approach of what we're trying to do offensively. And it was essentially, guys, we need to be accurate with the barrel, and we're trying to hit line drives in the middle of the field. It was almost that I remember, mate, when we played against you guys with the Heat, and you'd have like, let's see how many line drives, guys, we can hit today. It was sort of that. All right, boys, let's see how many line drives we can hit today. And guess what? We started to go whack, whack, whack. We weren't. The ballparks there, mate, were massive. Like I'm talking, mate. They made Bisp look small. Like, these places were graveyards. And I'm like, fellas, you can try and run into as many as you want. Guess how many you're going to hit out? Zero. Don't even bother. Just let's see how many line drives we can hit. Stay in the middle of the field, and once we get to 2 strikes, battle your ass off and try and get the ball in play. And they did that, and they were fantastic offensively. Could not fold them. Could not fold them.
Pops, you mentioned a few names there already, but I'm guessing that this is loosely tied to this tournament. Some of this, obviously, it's the MLB World Select Team. Now it's an under 20. It's basically the top players from a number of different countries under the age of 20. But quite a few names that you've mentioned have shown up in this list that have been asked to go to Arizona as a bit of a showcase. I'm just going to quickly read them off because I think it's pretty cool. And then Hughesy, I know you obviously got a bit of an idea about this as well. I'll get you guys to sort of give it a rundown for our listeners and also for me. To be honest, I haven't heard too much about this over the last few years or whatever. So this is as per baseball.com.au. But Ethan Bickle, Patrick Crotty, Deacon Filco, Will Hardy, Ashton Kennedy, Ben Nesbitt, Riley Puckett, Cooper Techman, Matt Trainer, and Lachlan Vella, as well as Damian Wilson. Now, I've definitely butchered some names. I'm good at that, but I promise Hughesy would have been worse. So it's, but that's a pretty cool initiative that's going on there, and I'm guessing a fair few of those guys, if not all of them, were out of that under 18s team. Is that right, Pops?
Yeah, pretty much all those guys, mate, were on the team in Japan last week or the last couple of weeks. Yeah, listen, as far as I'm aware, it's an MLB initiative. They fund the project. Best, 20, I think it's 20 to 25 players from Australia, a lot of countries in Europe. It essentially targets players, I think, in that sort of second tier countries that Hughesy mentioned before.
30 players,
and we're
Australia,
lucky.
Austria, Brazil, Czech, Korea, Germany, Netherlands, Spain. Yeah. So, yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah. So, Australia and Europe. And those guys all deserve their chance to be there. There was some guys that I would suggest that probably weren't on the radar to go on that trip and went to Japan and absolutely played the house down and got themselves on that trip, which is great, and they were rewarded for it, which is always good. And I think it just exposes them to professional scouts, some collegiate recruiters, etc., to try and get them into that US system over there and further develop their own careers.
Can I take it back a second? And Sexy pronounced something then that I just need to bring to everyone's attention. And
Here we go.
Were you trying to say Curacao? Was that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, I thought I got away with that. I thought
no, you didn't. And I'll never let you.
I was thinking of Blue Curacao.
I think we just need to add that to the bloops this week.
Yeah, right. Thanks, mate. Just move on.
Grab that. Do you have a little sound grab for that one? What do you got on there?
I edit the bloops, mate. I want better.
Okay.
Better. All right, look,
there we go.
Be better.
That's what I want. Yeah, thank you. But back to the topic at hand. This trip is amazing for these fellas to be able to go away. The first year, I got to be a part of it as a coach, and the first time was all Australians, and it was special, right? We got to go to the States, and they played against a lot of rookie ball teams. I think it was in Florida the first one I went to, and then the second year it was they brought the European players into it, and to see the guys connect with one another throughout a very short period of time, they're kind of like lifelong friends forever because you spend every waking moment with each other and you start running into these guys a lot more. So it was really quite special. But to see the development in that short period of time and for them to be exposed not only from a World Cup of what they've just been to, but to be able to now go to the States for another part. So they've gone up to a tryout camp. They've gone to Japan to play in a tournament. Now they get to go to the US to play against another higher level grade competition. It's quite special, right? There've been some fantastic coaches that will be a part of that system. They'll have a lot of big league guys floating around as part of that coaching staff. They'll meet a hell of a lot of people. So it is quite special for those guys. And I just want to congratulate everyone for making that select team. And hopefully they take part of the learnings of what happened in the World Cup over to, that next progression, which is this World Select. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what happens in that space. And what their learnings are. Maybe we try to grab one when they come back from this. I'm not sure when it is. Is it in spring training off Arizona 4 Classic? Gotcha. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Are you part of that, Pops, in any way or not?
No, mate. I mean, I was lucky enough. That year that we went to Florida, mate, I was there with you in Fort Myers, and we were based
Sorry,
in. What a
shit.
It's all right.
Be
It's all
better.
right. It's all right, mate.
Be
Yeah,
better.
it's all right, mate.
Forgot about that.
I was only.
We had a great. Shit.
Yeah, only next year in the dugout as your bench coach, mate. That's all. But
That's right.
Sorry about him.
That was your
bloke.
first.
What a shit
So
bloke.
it's his first time managing Jezza, and he's managing the World Select Australian team, and I'm his bench coach. And I think we had Olchie and Willow and Lloydie.
That's
it was like
right.
it was a great trip. But I think the year after, mate, I think we were in Arizona. I think we went to Arizona the year after, and it's really cool for those guys. I think it's awesome that they get a chance to go over there and play. And anything that's run by MLB is run really, really professionally, really efficiently, and they'll get a chance to showcase themselves in front of some pro teams and some college recruiters. And I mean, geez, they just did that in front of probably all 30 MLB teams at the World Cup. There was scouts galore there. So, and you know what? The thing is too, mate, all them kids on that World Select team, they're great kids. It was a great bunch of kids in Japan. They were, all really, passionate about playing for their country. The amount of pride that they had. They got after it. I can't fault the pride and passion they show for playing for their country and their jersey. They really got after it. And even in some of the games where we didn't play well, and the score might reflect the Type A game 10-2, USA game 11-1. You go in the clubhouse and it was dead quiet, and no disrespect to the younger generations, but I found that quite odd, because I've been in some club ball, change rooms where, you've just lost a game and guys are laughing and joking. They think it's funny. And I'm like, hey, knock that shit off, and these kids were quiet. They knew it meant a lot to them. And, we'll see what pans out after the MLB trip. And hopefully some of them kids get a chance to sign or maybe go to college.
Be awesome. It'd be awesome. Now, moving on, Pops, obviously, you're, like I said earlier, you're wearing a lot of hats as far as coaching Aussie teams. You're also the skipper of the Emeralds program. How is that shaping up, and where are we off to next with the Emeralds?
We're supposed to play an Oceania qualifier in November, which has been cancelled. We're supposed to play Guam. Guam couldn't answer the bell. No disrespect, but that's no shock. It's happened a lot in a number of different, a lot of times, 15s, 18s, 23s, where countries say, we're going to come qualify, and then they pull out. That's been cancelled. So now we get automatic entry to the World Cup qualifying stage next year. Venue to be determined. I'm aware of one which is in the US, in Rockford. The second venue, I'm not aware of where that is, so we'll be assigned in one of them two groups, and we get the Oceania place at the World Cup. So women's nationals next year, obviously prerequisite for them girls to be selected to play at the women's nationals. We'll start to track club ball form and stuff over the next few months. Now that I'm out of 18U mode, I can switch to Emeralds mode and start locking in on that. Go to the nationals in April, and put a team / squad together, and go to our World Cup group, which is generally around the same time as now. It's usually September time, where most of the WBSC events are on, and go over there and try and qualify for the final stage the year after.
How exciting. That's bloody awesome, mate. Look,
Yeah.
it just doesn't stop for you. You just get out of one and you just jump straight into the other. I mean, busiest man in baseball. And I just have one last question just before we wrap it up here. I do have a question though. Like, it doesn't make sense that coaching staff. You had Lloydie, you had Ulchi, you had you had Willow, and then somehow Luke Hughes gets the manager's job. That is absolute BS. I mean, who? Anyways, I don't. Yeah, that's just a joke. But yeah, I bet you guys are all looking around going, "How this guy get the job?" Hey, pops, you would have been for sure. Yeah.
Were you still playing around then? Were you still playing?
No, yeah. Well, not professionally. I finished up, I think, at that stage.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty quick after, when that popped up, and I was like jumped on straight away and got asked to do it, mate. And it's, you look back at those times, and there's simpler times back then, mate. There wasn't much else you had to worry about besides, a bit of baseball, and the coaching aspect for me, I think, really kind of kicked off then, right? The passion for it and being able to, I guess, instruct and help younger baseball players along their journey. And I guess it's funny, and everyone like that knows me understands the level of intensity that we kind of bring to that, and that's probably part of the reason why they did pick me to be a coach, because it is something that I'm quite passionate about and really wanting to drive it. But we had a great time that trip, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and teaching and seeing these young athletes develop throughout the week. Anytime you get together with a bunch of call it 17 to 19-year-old players that are just sponges, right? They just soak everything in that you say. They want to talk about baseball. They want to learn about the game. They just keep asking questions, and eventually you kind of tap out and you're like, mate, enough's enough eventually. But no, it is a special time, mate. And I have to just say, mate, awesome job by you. You're wearing two different hats at the moment. You're putting a lot of effort in for the game within Australia and the development of the sport, mate. And it's great to have a person like you again come on the podcast and chat to us and give us an honest. I think that's the best thing about it, right? It's very honest. As you said before, it's black and white with you, mate. And it's great to sit back and listen to you talk and debrief on the tournament and really give us some honest truths about where we need to get to compete at that world stage.
No, appreciate the kind words, mate. I'm still very, very honoured to have the opportunities that I've had. Just to even get asked to do the 18U team, I thought that ship had potentially sailed, and Baseball Australia had faith in me to do it again, and I really, really enjoyed the experience. The coaching staff were outstanding; they were phenomenal. The players were great. And having the two roles, I don't know if that's happened before. I've got no idea, but it does keep me busy. But it's not something that I take for granted. I'm fully invested in both teams, and sometimes it means I've got to prioritise one over the other at times because it's just a case of timing. But now the 18U's done, I'll debrief with BA and give them honest feedback, and then let the powers that be do what they need to do with that. And now we'll move on to the Emeralds component. So busy. But I'm not doing club base. Yeah, not doing club baseball this year. I'm having the summer off. I mean, I've been summer last year, and then all winter getting the 18U. So I'm going to take some time off and actually spend some time with my family and my son and watch him, get a chance to watch him play. And I saw the question a couple of weeks ago, mate. You're worried about your young fella doing things both hands.
Yeah.
My son was the same. He did both. He was like, when he started, he'd be throwing with both hands. He'd swing both ways. And then one thing I did with him one day, there was just a ball on the ground. And I just said, mate, go pick up that ball. And I watched which hand he picked it up with. They'll always pick it up with their dominant hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I let him do both.
Where are we at with that?
Where are you at, mate?
Have you had it? Yeah, we need a bit more of a...
No answers.
No answers.
He was off snowballing.
I know where his head's going, Jezza. He knows that if his son's left-handed, he's only got 3 positions he can play in the field.
Yeah. No, he is.
And he's like, if he's right-handed, he can play anywhere. He can pitch, he can catch, he can do everything. Left-handed, mate, you're either pitching, you're playing first, or you're playing the outfield.
He said it on the podcast. He goes, guys that hit right and throw left don't make the bigs. So he doesn't. He wants. I reckon righty throw, lefty swing. Come on, or switch swing. Let's do it. Nasty.
Well, I do have to say to everybody, he went snowboarding on the weekend, and he said to his mum, he's like, Mum, I found the sport I want to do. And she's like, oh, what's that? He goes, snowboarding. So he's done anyway. He's done. He's going to be. He's going to be at the Winter Olympics doing. I don't know. By that stage, they're probably doing. I don't know. What's 6 360s in a row or something like that before he lands something stupid by this stage. Another 15 years. So anyway, Pops, mate, appreciate you coming.
We appreciate you, Pops. Thanks, mate.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Awesome. There we go. Always great to talk to Pops. I love him. He's just so much fun to talk to, and wow, what a busy dude, and awesome to have him on the show. I mean, of course, we didn't get a chance to talk too much about the 18s, but we thought, why not just wrap it up for those listeners that are interested by talking to the manager, to the big boss. So we did it. So there you go. That was awesome. Now, obviously, there's so much going on, but if you haven't already, I have to take a quick pause for the cause. Go and follow us on our socials, or check us out over on YouTube. It's at Blue Blast Podcast. We've also got the State League Show at State League Show on Instagram. It's been it's launched. We've got our second episode coming out this week as well. As you're hearing this, it is all coming out on the Blue Blast channels. So if you're listening to this, don't stress. It'll all be here. It'll be just here in Spotify as well as YouTube. The only difference is we've got the State League Show Instagram, and from all accounts, it's far more popular and a lot more enjoyable to listen to than Hughesy. So, no, go and check it out. And quickly before I rile Hughesy up too much more, we have to say thanks to at 1623 Baseball. Of course, TK, the GOAT, they're running their summer camps coming up very, very soon. So go and check it out at 1623 Baseball. Check out the website. You can see it on the Perth Heat stuff. It's coming up first week of school holidays, 3 days. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of cool guys hanging out there, and lots of opportunities for the little ones to learn. I just spat a little bit. Hughesy missed it. That's awesome. But anyways, let's move on. So much news, so much going on. It's starting to get a little bit more exciting. We're still a few weeks away from the ABL, Hughesy, but a really cool signing that I saw this week, a couple of cool ones. Obviously, Todd Hatcher's back with the Perth Heat. I mean, lefty arm, love that, nasty. And, of course, Caden Nicoletto. So, Singy introduced me to this kid. He's coming back to, Singy introduced me on the State League show to him. He's coming back to Rocco this year to play in State League, but also Singy sort of said earlier, he goes, hey, maybe this kid might get a sniff for the Perth Heat. Bang, next day, as soon as he told me about this kid, I see him on Instagram. Perth Heat have signed him, big lefty bat, kid that's played a fair bit of college ball over the last few years, had a fair bit of success over there, played for Mizzou last year as well. So pretty exciting times in the Perth Heat there with that. And of course, Perry Roth, the manager for the Perth Heat. Hughesy, have you got any sort of, have you got any intel on Perry Roth? I know you had some words to say last week.
I'm putting myself in the gun tonight. I will have to apologise and
with an apology. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll put myself in the gun to be better tonight. Have to be better. Perry was brought to my attention from a couple of boys. I think I spoke to Woz the next day and I asked him, he goes, mate, he was here 2 years ago. He's the most loved guy going around. Everybody loved him. And I just sat there and I said, shit, I know with that one, eh? So I do have to say Hughesy needs to be better in that essence. So I am really looking forward to talking to him, but he is much loved character within that Perth Heat clubhouse. So the boys are very, very excited to have him back. I want better. Be better.
There you go. It is what it is. That's good. Hey, that's all right. We all make mistakes. It's still early, Luke. It's spring training for us. All right. We're getting back into the flow of things. You know what I mean? We're just taking some live at bats. So that's cool. Another bit of news that's come out this week, the Aces, Melbourne Aces, of course, they're doing their own thing. We heard that they're going to the KBO Fall League, of course, but they've announced too they're going to have the Aces, the Stars and Stripes Shield there in Melbourne, the 28th, 29th and 30th of November. Now they're going to play the Black Sox pro team. Now, my understanding from what I saw on their Instagram posts and such like that, it's basically a pro ball team that sort of travels around, and a lot of future stars as far as that involved in that. So that'll be pretty exciting. We're starting to see a little bit more out of the Aces sort of schedule. We still haven't heard much post-Christmas, but hey, it's like you said last week, hey, if they say they're going to have 40 games, it's going to happen. That's fine. So it's exciting. That's pretty cool there. Of course, too, Sydney, moving over to Sydney, they brought your guy back, Landon Barassa. So you loved him last year. He's back. He's going back to Sydney. Like I said, I think it's going to be more of the same from these guys. How many big bats are left on the market? How many big arms are left on the market? We're not sure. But, hey, I mean, if they can bring back basically the same lineup like they did last year, Brook Knight at the helm, you know what you're going to get. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be pretty cool. As well as Adelaide have re-signed Jason Lott. So another arm there for them. And, of course, the big news, the biggest news today or this week, as you're listening to this, MLB have announced that they are definitely going to bring in the ABS system. So that's pretty exciting. We knew it was going to happen. You're pro this.
Mate, I'm so sick and tired of watching hitters get punched out on pitches that are 4 inches off the plate in the big leagues. I'm like so sick and tired. I follow a Twitter, an X page called Umpire.
Yeah, I've seen the breakdowns of them. That's nasty.
And I watch every single strike three pitch that's off the plate. They're top 10 every time, and they just load them up. They're like, how many have they missed this month? No, I love umpires.
I can see you just get. I can see you just watching it, just getting so angry, just like.
I'm just feeling for the lads. Just feeling for the lads. No, look, all jokes aside, if the technology is there, right, and it helps. Yeah. Like umpiring now, it's so hard, right? Because of all the video and everything that goes on and the amount of money that is being invested in players, and it's a livelihood. And if they do have a system that can, help a game at crucial times, and it'd be interesting to see how the players roll this out, right? Like, is it going to be the first inning, first pitch of the game, the guy's going to tap his helmet and, lose one of the two, so they get 2 challenges per game, and if it goes extra innings, they get another one. But if they do use those 2 throughout the game, so it'll be very interesting to see, how they, the catches operate it, how the hitters go about it, what the intricacies within each club. Like, is it just a free-for-all, go for it? Or is it like, no, guys, like you're not going to use it until late in the game, or if it's a situation with a runner on third, less than 2 out, or something, like whatever. It'd be very interesting to see how they go about utilizing it next year. But every ballpark will have it. I think it's the text through Hawkeye. So for me,
I'm for years in cricket, right? Like Hawkeye's great. Like, so sorry, keep going.
No, I'm just like, I am pro it, right? Like, but 2 isn't that many. Like, if a hitter stuffs up in the first inning, you're down to 1. Like, when do you utilize that? Like, when is the situation there to be able to go and actually use it as a club? So,
how do you feel about full robo? How do you feel about, like, in the minors, they had an umpire just standing behind the plate with an earpiece, and they call if it's ball or strike? Because I'll tell you, I'm not loading you up. I hate it. I hate that. Right, so the ABS thing, I get it. It's good for like close calls and all that, and you're going to gamify it, like we know. Sorry, I'm holding a pen because I did some research for this show. Just want to allow listeners to know, but you're gonna game it. You're gonna have certain scenarios where tap the head, but also interesting take that it wasn't actually recently, but there's a video online circulating about Walker Buehler talking about how he doesn't like it because he thinks certain stadiums have different parameters as well. But he also mentioned guys that have been in the league for longer get different calls than guys that don't coming through. Now, I personally love that. Like, I think that's like, I don't know, like I grew up in that era of watching baseball, and you hear the stories, right? Like he's going to get that pitch because he's the big dog, but it's like, man, like that's cool as hell. That's kind of like what baseball is to me a little bit, but I don't know. Interesting to get your take on that whole deal.
It's not the way it's played anymore, right? Like back in the day, it was like, the clubhouses were run by the veterans. Okay, it was the veteran way, and you had to adhere to certain things. And to be honest with you, I was brought up in that era, and I loved that shit. I relished on that shit. Like I frothed over all those different, I guess, ways of how a clubhouse works. Okay, and the level in the, not necessarily the pecking order, but it's like, no, this is our structure and this is our culture and this is how we go about doing everything, right? And this is how we carry ourselves, more so to the point. It's like, this is what we stand for. And, the times have shifted, right? And get on it, because it's just the way it is, okay? I'm not saying that you can let everybody get away with everything, but it has evolved, right? And I still feel that you still need to have certain, I guess, culture pieces that fit within that clubhouse. But when it comes to the game and the actual outcome of a game, I don't care if there's a 19-year-old kid pitching or a 40-year-old vet on the mound. The strike zone's the strike zone.
Yeah,
and that shouldn't change. It shouldn't be different for a 40-year-old vet because he's been in the league for 15. Take Verlander, for example. He's 42, still, I think, doing a really good job for San Francisco. I know his win-loss isn't quite there, but mate, he's got a 3.8, right? And he had a pretty tough start, but he's been pitching really well for the last couple of months. Why should he get a slightly bigger strike zone because he's pitching the league? Like that mindset is no longer. Like that doesn't happen anymore, right? Like you're still playing with everyone's livelihood at 20. That guy's trying to stay and stick in the league and try to earn money to support his family and to set up his family for the rest of their lives and their kids' lives, right? So for me, the strike zone is a strike zone. It's the same for everybody, right? It is the strike zone. That doesn't change. The goalposts don't get bigger because Paddy Dangerfield's kicking at a goal and he's played 360 games of footy, and all of a sudden the goals go, oh, okay, we're just going to get a little bit bigger. And then all of a sudden, whoever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nick Dacos rolls out there and you're like, oh, no, he's younger and he's good. So the goalposts go here. No, it doesn't happen. It's
all right. The goalpost analogy got me. You've got a really good point there. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I honestly just thought about that too.
That was good. Off the cuff. Hughesy off the cuff.
And I was there at the prelim on Friday night, and holy cow, what a game did Paddy Dangerfield play.
Who does he play for?
Shut up.
Oh, I don't know.
Geelong, Geelong, mate. And
are they going to play? Are they playing on the weekend?
They're in the grand final on the weekend. Cool. So, for me, it's just back to the rules. The rules are the rules of the game, right? And they just need to be adhere to, and this is going to be an interesting one, and I'll be watching, right? I don't know about the 400% robo umpires. I'm kind of here or there on that. Maybe it gets to a point after the ABS. Maybe that's the next advancement forward, but I'm kind of sitting on the fence on that one for now.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's exciting though. It's cool. And hey, hasn't the game changed a fair bit in the last 10 years, right? So many changes, but hey, from all we can see, it's only on the up. So there you go. I have anything else? I did want to tell you, we played Team Singapore last Friday night and we beat them. I think it was relatively a 15-0 game or something like that. But good game. That was pretty cool. Big Sexy got a couple of bats. Didn't get a hit. Got a walk. Couple of little bloop singles. That weren't singles, but yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was good to see Team Singapore out here in Perth. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but Anyways, there you go. I just thought I'd give you a quick update from the nest, mate.
I appreciate it. No, I love hearing from the lads. I speak to them weekly down there, but I think club ball is getting. Sydney's kicked off and club ball's kicked off in Sydney.
Yep.
I think WA's,
very close.
A week after Granny, Victoria's a week after Granny. So, it's all firing up here very shortly. I'm pretty excited down at Essendon. The good feel around the club. The boys are up and about, which is great. I do have one thing before you wrap everything up.
Let's do it. What do you got for me?
And I wanted to put teams on notice. And you kind of jumped from the ABL announcements from the players, and I just wanted to slip something in, but kind of didn't have the time. So
my bad.
I'm on Robbie Glendenning watch, okay, and I'm waiting for someone to sign him, and that announcement to happen. And I don't know who's going to pick him up, but when you've got a bat sitting on the open market that sounds like, he's pretty interested in playing in the Australian Baseball League to prepare for the WBC, someone sign Robbie. He's your 3-hole hitter, be one of the best hitters in the league. He can add, a dynamic to a club that's probably lacking in that space. I'm on Robbie watch, and I'm going to be on Robbie watch. I do have one other thing. I'm on MVP watch. MVP watch. Okay, and this is going to be quick as well.
Rapid
okay,
fire. I gotcha.
Otani or Schwarber?
Otani.
Yeah, he threw 6 scores again today.
I love Schwarber too, but it's Otani.
Yeah. And let's go to the dumper, the Judge.
Dumper. Switch hitting catcher. It's a position. It's a position that we don't see power from a lot, and he's a switch hitter. You're not going to get many opportunities. Just do it. And everyone loves big dumper. Just do it. Make it happen.
I've been reading arguments about Judge and dumper like all day long too.
Am I on track? He's going to hit 60, and they're going to give it to Judge, and everyone's going to go, well, I'm going to go, what the hell are you doing? Right? Come on. Let him do it.
Okay. We've got 325 v. Where's the dumper? 240 or something? I think I was pretty correct last week.
Sorry. Real quick. Someone actually messaged me and said, how come you guys don't talk in the episode last week, right? Now we're just rambling.
It's our show. We do whatever we want.
Yeah. No, and I'm like calling this out sort of thing. Someone said, messaged me, goes, why don't you guys talk about war and stuff when you guys were talking about like this and that? And I'm like, I wrote back pretty much. I go, pretty much because Hughesy and I are like kind of old school with shit, and we and we forget there's like all these new stats. But good point. Like war, keep that in there in your equation here, Luke. Add the war in. Sorry. Wins above replacement. Do you know about the stat? Have you heard of it?
I'm just going to end the episode now. Jokes.
No, go through the stats.
I just love guys hitting tanks, to be honest with you. And Dumba's hit 58 and Judge's hit 49. So there is a difference there, right? And I know there's some RBIs, and I get it. War. What doesn't have war? MLB doesn't have war on their stats. Do they have their war? Hold on, where are they?
Baseball Reference would, but
Baseball Reference. I'm not going to go Baseball Reference. Maybe next week we'll do that because the season would have been over. This time next week, I think there's only like 6 games or 7 games to go. So, look, I'll go have a look at some war stats. All right.
Who have you got? I'm on track. Otani wins National League and then Dumper wins AL. Sorry, if they give it to Judge, I'll be like, come on. Oh, he hit average in an era.
Judge.
No one cares about averages.
I'm going Judge.
Yeah, you would. Just like you tipped the Aces bloody out of the league last year.
I've put the curse on the Brisbane Bandits this year.
Yeah, Bandits are dead. Sorry, guys. I wore your hat, but Hughesy tipped you at all.
You guys are in trouble. I've tipped you. You're done. Sorry, pack it in the season. Sorry, Benny.
Lineup too. That's such a shame.
I did say Benny called me out and said you just put the curse on us.
Oh no, you didn't tell me that. Yeah, right.
I thought that laughed. I was like, that's so funny. But guys, it's been a great episode. We love doing this. I started to heat up a little bit, right? I'm starting to get a little bit more excited. We've got some really good people coming on the show over the next couple of weeks. We've got some good stuff lined up. I'm really happy we got the chance to talk to Pops and get a debrief on the 18s. Look, if we didn't announce or talk about it the other week, it was because we had Pops lined up to chat. So we wanted to get it, hear everything from the horse's mouth. What a phenomenal baseball brain that we've got. And I love hearing him talk about baseball, right? The guy's so passionate about it. So it's great to see him still in it. But mate, Sexy, AKA medium-sized Sexy.
I'm just good at framing the camera, mate. I'm still chunky.
Thanks, mate.
I'm still big and sexy. Let's wrap it up. We appreciate you guys for listening. If you haven't already, go and check us out at Blue Blast Podcast. Go and check out the State League show. That's dropping tomorrow. That'll be dropping on Friday. So you get Blue Blast on a Thursday in your Spotify feed as per normal. And then you get State League show on a Friday. There you go. You're laughing. My name is Big Sexy. His name is Luke Hughes. You look like you had one more thing to say.
No, I was going to make fun of Brennan Singh, your co-host on the State League show, and just say, hey, look, there might be a Clearasil sponsorship in the network or in the background. So I just wanted to see if Singy needs some help in that area.
Come on, Luke.
I want better. Be better.
Just be better. Okay, there's no need to do that, all right? Anyways, that's it. We appreciate you all for listening. Thanks. Take care. See ya.
It's an old baseball saying, a bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast.
Loop and a blast. Big Sexy, Luke Hughes.
Going back. This ball's back.